Yeah, guys, nobody believes this. And in this context, they're saying that Kentucky spent almost $200 million, and Pope commented on it. Let's analyze. These numbers seem unrealistic. But, let's go. The numbers surrounding the Kentucky Wildcats' NIL financing have been the subject of heated debate and speculation. When Mark Pope jokes that the program would have invested almost $200 million in its current roster through these deals, it's inevitable that eyebrows will be raised. After all, we're talking about an astronomical figure, especially in a context where many college programs are still trying to find the balance between the new reality of the NIL and their financial capabilities. However, even if this number seems exaggerated or symbolic, it reflects something much bigger: Kentucky's outsized ambition to maintain its position as an absolute powerhouse in college basketball. Pope's comment, while delivered with lightheartedness and humor, carries a powerful message. He's not only acknowledging the crucial role that NIL plays in today's landscape, but also embracing the idea that Kentucky should lead this transformation. With new regulations allowing athletes to monetize their image and social media presence, college basketball has entered an era of unprecedented competition, where traditional giants must innovate to keep up with emerging programs. And Kentucky, under Pope's leadership, seems determined to not only keep up with this change, but to shape it. The $200 million mention could be interpreted as hyperbole, but there's clear evidence that the program is willing to spend, and spend big, to attract and retain elite talent. Recent reports suggest that the Wildcats' 2025-26 roster could have around $20 million in NIL value. That number, while significantly lower than the nearly $200 million Pope mentioned, is still impressive and demonstrates the university's commitment to offering competitive packages to its players. To put that in perspective, few programs in the country have the resources and infrastructure to even dream of such a big sum. But what's really striking about Pope's statement isn't just the amount of money involved, but the mindset he embodies. Kentucky isn't just looking to win basketball. The program wants to dominate every aspect of the sport. We want to play the toughest schedule. We want to play the best teams. We want to win the most games. We want to have the best players. We want to have the biggest NIL. We want to have the coolest uniforms. We want to have the most media attention, he said. That statement encapsulates Kentucky's philosophy. Nothing less than the top is acceptable. And in an environment where NIL has become a strategic differentiator, the program is willing to do whatever it takes to stay ahead. It's important to note that Kentucky's success in this endeavor depends not only on Pope, but also on a robust support network. The coach explicitly cited President Eli Capilouto and Athletic Director Mitch Barnhart as key figures in this process, in addition to the dedicated fans and donors who support the program. This combination of visionary leadership, abundant financial resources, and a passionate fan base creates an environment that is virtually unmatched in college basketball. However, not everyone is unanimous when it comes to this aggressive approach. Critics argue that the huge amount of money involved in NILs can distort the sport, favoring wealthy programs and marginalizing those with more modest budgets. Additionally, there are concerns about how these arrangements could impact the internal dynamics of teams, especially in cases where players see significant discrepancies in their compensation packages. Still, Pope seems confident that Kentucky is on the right track. "This is Kentucky, and we're going to do this the best we can," he said, making it clear that the program has no intention of backing down in the face of criticism. Pope's $200 million statement could be seen as a provocation, a way to reinforce Kentucky's status as an unbeatable program. But regardless of how much of the number is real and how much is rhetorical exaggeration, the message is that Kentucky is here to be a great team this season. Does Coach Pitino belong to Kentucky and BBN or not? This question was raised. Let's analyze it. And at the end, I want to see your comment. Okay? The question of who can claim Rick Pitino, one of the most iconic coaches in college basketball history, is as complex as the coach's career itself. For Kentucky Wildcats fans, the answer seems clear at first glance. Pitino is part of the program's history, a name that resonates with the pride of Lexington and the glory of a national championship. However, his multifaceted trajectory, which stretches from Louisville to smaller programs and even to the international stage, defies any attempt to frame him exclusively as a Wildcat. Under the current leadership of Mark Pope, Kentucky continues to build its future. But Pitino's legacy remains a fundamental piece of the mosaic that defines Wildcat basketball. even if other schools, especially Louisville, also have strong arguments to call him theirs. Rick Pitino arrived at Kentucky in 1989, at a time when the program was facing challenges following NCAA sanctions and a period of turmoil. His 8-year stint, 1989-1997, was not just a rebuild, but a reinvention of Wildcats basketball. He brought energy, tactical innovation, and a relentless mentality that culminated in the 1996 National Championship, one of the most celebrated moments in program history. In addition, his 5 SEC championships solidified his reputation as one of the game's great strategists. In Lexington, Pitino didn't just win. He restored pride to a fan base that lives and breathes basketball. For many fans, those golden years make Pitino a timeless Wildcats icon, someone who embodies the competitive spirit that Mark Pope now seeks to perpetuate. On the other hand, Kentucky's claim is not unique. Pitino spent 16 years at Louisville, 2001-2017, an even longer stint than his time in Lexington. There, he won a national championship in 2013, later overturned due to NCAA violations, and achieved historic milestones, including becoming the first coach to take 3 different programs to the Final Four. His influence on the Cardinals was profound, shaping the program into a national powerhouse during his tenure. For Louisville, Pitino is not just a coach of the past. He is an era-defining figure, even with the controversies that marked the end of his tenure. This historic rivalry between Kentucky and Louisville adds an extra layer of complexity to the discussion, as both programs view Pitino as part of their identities, albeit in different ways. In addition to these 2 powerhouses, other programs where Pitino left his mark, such as Boston University, Providence, Iona, or even his current home, St. John's, carry less weight in the dispute. His tenure at Boston University, for example, was an early milestone, transforming the Terriers into NCAA tournament contenders, but it doesn't carry the same emotional or historical impact as his tenures at Kentucky or Louisville. Likewise, his stints as an assistant or on international adventures such as with Panathinaikos are fascinating chapters, but they don't define his legacy in the same way. Even St. John's, where Pitino continues to write his story, would only enter the conversation with a major accomplishment, such as a national championship, something that seems far away at the moment. For the Wildcats, the strength of Pitino's claim lies in the transformative impact of his era. He didn't just win, he redefined what it meant to be a Wildcat, setting a standard of excellence that later coaches, including John Calipari and now Mark Pope, have sought to uphold. Pope, with his modern approach and focus on developing talent, certainly recognizes the weight of Pitino's legacy in recruiting and inspiring players who dream of following in the footsteps of legends formed in Lexington. Kentucky fans, known for their unmatched passion, still celebrate Pitino as the architect of one of the program's most memorable eras, even if his departure for the NBA in 1997 left a void. Yet Pitino's career is bigger than any one institution. His restless nature, which has taken him from Lexington to Louisville, from the NBA to Greece, and now to St. John's, suggests he has never fully belonged anywhere. Perhaps the fairest answer is that Pitino is a shared figure, a coach who transcends rivalries and connects rival programs like Kentucky and Louisville through his tactical genius and accomplishments. For the Wildcats, he will always be the maestro of the 1996 title, the man who brought the trophy back to Rupp Arena. For Mark Pope and the current Kentucky generation, Pitino is an inspiration, a reminder that basketball in Lexington is synonymous with greatness. But as Pitino himself might say, his story isn't about belonging anywhere. It's about leaving a mark wherever he goes. Comment.